Hello, hello. Are we live? It looks like I'm live. Okay, welcome back to my font parsing and rendering project. Today we're going to keep on parsing the TTF font file. So, yesterday I was struggling with checksums, except I was getting a lot of checksums right. I was getting about a dozen checksums verified correctly, and then I was failing on the head table checksum. And I tried that with the Computer Modern font from LaTeX, and I tried that with the Calibri font from Windows, and they both failed on the head table. So that gave me an idea to do a little bit more research as opposed to like the minimal amount of research that I've done on TTF files so far. So I Googled something like TTF head wrong checksum. Yeah, this is the one. Actually, there were, I think there was a different Stack Overflow post that I looked at, but I looked at a couple Stack Overflow posts, and this was one of them. Now where did I find this? In the Apple documentation? Hold on. Did I do this on my phone? I have to copy and paste from another browser. This is the Stack Overflow post, I believe. And there's this thing called the checksum adjustment, which basically means that the head checksum is wrong on purpose. So of course I was failing to verify the head checksum. That's a little bit of a misleading way to say it. It's not wrong on purpose. It's just that the head checksum is kind of a checksum for the whole file, not just the head table. So if I tried to calculate it as if it was the checksum of just the head table, it comes out as wrong. And that is by design. It's not because I was doing something wrong, it's just because that's the way that the true type font file is. Basically, there's this thing called the checksum adjustment, and when you set it according to the spec of the TTF format, then the checksum for the head table will be wrong as a result, and that's by design. So I didn't know that. I didn't read enough documentation. I didn't even read the blog post that I'm basically translating into Fortran. So he has this call out that skips the checksum verification specifically for the head table. So that's what we need to do. And I went ahead and did that. And now I can build. I can run with the Computer Modern font. It goes through, prints too much stuff because I was debugging. And it reads the whole TTF file and it verifies all 19 checksums. Well, 18, and then it doesn't do anything for the head table because I have to do something different for the master checksum or the checksum of checksums. So I think I have some pretty messy code here, which I wrote off screen. And basically, if we're at the head table, then we don't do the usual checksum verification. That's right here. So we have to handle the checksum adjustment somewhere else. I think I'll make a commit right now, and then I'll have a clean slate to carry on the rest of the work for this video, or this stream. And this is because that's the way the TTF files are designed. Yeah, I think that's a better commit message. That's by design. So we skip the usual verification. Right, now, when I parse a TTF file, I'm printing out a whole bunch of stuff to the console. I want to clean up some of that. So the first one is in here. First of all, is my read 16 doing the same thing as the read 32? Yeah, I'm using and in both of them. So for 32, we AND it with 32 bits. For 16, we AND it with 16 bits. And then, because I don't particularly care what the scalar type is. Don't really care about these numbers either, or the jump positions. That's not what I wanted. Let's leave the final sums in there for a second. So that should be a little bit cleaner. And it still has the checksums. So we can verify that the sum which we calculated is the same as the checksum, and that's what the verification does. It just checks that these two numbers are the same. But I think I can remove that as well. Let me do one more file. So here's Calibri. I think I don't necessarily need to debug this. Rebuild. Come on. There. Should have just typed that out instead of hitting the up arrow like a dozen times. So now when I see this line that says finished, I know my program didn't crash. I know it actually got to the end. Here's Calibri. On Windows, we actually have a bunch of font files in the C Windows font directory. If you're on another operating system, you'll have to figure out where your fonts are. Google says that for Ubuntu, they're supposed to be in like user local share or something like that, but I couldn't find them in WSL here. So I should probably check my actual Windows system. C, Windows, fonts. Let's just pick a random letter in the middle of the alphabet, P, C. Papyrus. Let's see what Papyrus is. So you can see I can verify checksums even for some random font file in the Windows directory. I have no idea what's in this font. I can even make a script, which maybe you've noticed it on the right here, which tries to verify the checksums in every single file in the Windows font directory. So at first I had this. This will only work on Windows, so I'm calling this script testwin.sh. And oh, okay, it does uppercase first. So you can see there's a problem with Corbelli. Actually, I don't know how to pronounce this. I don't think it's Corbelli. I think it's Corbel with an I suffix, and I think the I stands for italic or something. Like you can see, we have Corbel and Corbel B, which I guess is Corbel bold, and then Corbel I, which I would guess is Corbel italic. So there's something funny about this font. I'm not even failing to verify a checksum. I'm actually crashing because I get to the end of the file before the correct amount of data that I'm expecting. So there's something very wrong with this file. I want to see if this Steve's blog can render this font. Like, am I the only one who's having issues with this font, or is it everybody? So let's go in here. Let's look up Corbel. Where is this thing? There's something funny about the Windows font directory. When you go into Windows, Windows Explorer looks weird. When I go into the fonts directory, like the whole window looks kind of messed up. I don't know if this is a bug or if it's supposed to look like this. And now I can't even find that file. Like, I have Corbel. This isn't showing files, this is showing fonts, and it's not actually letting me see the details of the TTF files in this directory. But at the command line, we can see that. So maybe I have to copy it out of there. Corbelli. I'm going to keep saying Corbelli, even if that's the wrong way to pronounce it. So let's copy that out of here. To be careful not to upload this to GitHub because there's probably some Windows copyright on this font that I can't copy it anywhere. So I have to be careful about that. I'll put it in the scratch directory, which is git ignored, and then nothing here is tracked or uploaded to Git unless I like forcibly push it. So now Corbelli is there. Let's see if I can get there. Now I can see the file as opposed to Windows hiding it from me. Let's take a look at Steve Hanoff's blog and see if he can render this font. By the way, if I had spent like 5 minutes actually reading the code that I'm copying, I would have seen this, or if I would have read the Apple documentation. Well, this is a lot of documentation, so there's no way I would have like read all of this and known to look. Is this buried? No, it's right here in the font table section. It's not like buried in a subsection. But if I would have spent like 5 minutes reading documentation, I could have saved myself like an hour in the last stream that I spent like just staring at this hex editor and trying to figure out why my code was getting a supposedly wrong checksum. Could have saved myself a lot of trouble, but c'est la vie. I want to see, can Steve Hanoff's blog render Corbelli? Hey, hey, assertion failed. So Steve Hanoff is also getting the wrong checksum. There should be other software for rendering fonts, and not to like cast shade on Steve Hanoff, but I don't know, maybe his code has the same bugs that my code has. So let's try to find like a third font renderer to see what it can do with this Corbelli TTF out. So Microsoft is okay with it. That's a good sanity check. Microsoft is not distributing corrupt font files that they themselves cannot render. Yeah, and you can see this is italic. The letters are all slanty. Actually, if I copy the other one, so I think Corbel without the I. Let's do a separate window. Yeah, separate window. So this is Corbel, this is Corbel I. I meaning italic. I'm gonna keep calling it Corbelli because it sounds cool and Italian. It has a certain suaveness to it. So that's a good sanity check. Let's see if anybody on the internet can tell me anything about this Corbel file. Because I actually tried almost, oh no, yeah, this is the regular one. I want to keep the italic one in my scratch directory because I'm having issues with it. Kind of like drag and drop a TTF file here. To preview fonts on your computer. Font drop, that sounds like what I want. Yeah, probably like stealing copyrighted fonts by uploading this to a server somewhere and getting everybody's copyrighted fonts. Is that? So this thing can render it correctly. This looks like Corbelli. Yeah, I don't know. Well, maybe I'll come back to it later. Are those ligatures? Are those ligatures? Or yeah, these are ligatures. Look, FB. Ligatures is, in case you don't know about fonts, is when you have two letters, which are normally two separate glyphs, like F and B on their own. Each have a glyph, but when you have them next to each other, they form a ligature, which is represented as a single glyph here. I think glyph is the right word. They're actually simple glyphs and compound glyphs. So maybe this is a compound glyph, I don't really know. But the point is when you have two letters next to each other, like FF especially, you can see the crossbar is joined. There's just one crossbar. It's not like there's a space between the first F bar and the second F bar. So that's a ligature, and that's cool. I didn't know that was in this font file. Greek letters, Cyrillic letters, all kinds of stuff. Currency signs. Okay, so this tool can render Corbelli. I cannot render Corbelli. Oh, they have a separate list of just the ligatures. It's weird that they only have F's and not T's. Like if you had TT, wouldn't you want that as a ligature? No lorem ipsum? Gotta have lorem ipsum in your font previews. There we go. Now I feel better. Data. Oh. This is really... maybe it's not so nice. Because I want to see what this scalar type thing is. It's like one of the first things that I read. It's technically not in a table, though. Because if we go back to my parsing source code, first few things that I read are the scalar type, num tables, search range, entry selector. I don't really know what these things are or what their values should be, so I'm not 100% sure that I'm parsing them correctly. I have some confidence with a number of tables because I don't crash when I then go and read those tables. So like num tables is used later in the code, right? Like if I search for it, there it is, you can see like I loop with this as the bound of a loop, and then I read a table for each one of the num tables. So I feel okay with that one, but scalar type, like what the hell is this thing? I don't know what its value should be. It's not used anywhere else in my code, so I can't really be confident that I'm parsing it correctly. Like I'm just using read U32 to parse it, and my checksum calculator also uses read U32. So I'm probably parsing those correctly, but I have less confidence on the read U16s because that's not used for any checksum validator. I mean, num tables is a U16, but maybe there's like a special case where I can read small numbers correctly as U16, but it might break for very large. unsigned 16-bit numbers. I don't know. So I would like it if this website that was a slip of the tongue. I would like it if this website would show me the scalar type, but I'm not seeing that anywhere. Lookup type. We have lookup types. Oh, there are 79 occurrences of type, but there's not even a scale. I see some people spell this scalar, S-C-A-L-E-R, which I'm pretty sure that's wrong. I think it's scalar, like a mathematical scalar, but no matter how you spell it, I'm not finding it on this web page. What is the title of my stream? Yeah. Title of the stream today is still parsing TTF font files, so that's still accurate. I wanted to make sure I don't need to update that. Well, maybe I don't need to worry about the header of the whole TTF file, and maybe I can just start parsing tables and validating some of these things, because I don't know if these are fixed point or 16-bit or 32-bit, but hopefully I can start to read some of these and get it verified. But yeah, this website looks pretty good. This should be helpful. Let me update the README a little bit. I think, is this going to render correctly as a link in Markdown? I think probably not. But if I, God damn it. Right now I'm going to change my config so that I can copy and paste. Yank put how the hell do I get my clipboard fixed? NeoVim system clipboard. I've seen this comment before. Plus Y. Don't just want to copy to the system clipboard, I want to paste from the system clipboard. Just show me the whole thread, man. What happened to the internet? What? Show me all the comments, come on. Leader. Oh my god, why does it like reload? What? Sounds like the good way to do it. Because this is Lua init-vim, or Lua neo-vim specific. This one's Corbelli. We can quit that and go to my config. Let's make sure I'm up to date. What do I have in Scratch? Oh, who knows what was in that? It's gone now. Where do I want to put this? I feel like it belongs around here in my general settings. Not the last time I'll have to do this. I don't like this style. I like spaces after my commas. There we go. I feel better now. Let's restart NeoVim and then test that out. Copy. No. Okay, maybe it's like Control Insert. Shift Insert. No! Come on, just give me like a simple keyboard shortcut. Okay, what if I like copy from a different application? Copy, put, okay. Yank. Okay, now can I? So in my previous GVim setup, I would just use literally like Control C and Control V because I'm on Windows, and then that would work. As long as I was in insert mode. I think I would have to go into insert mode and then do Control C. So I kind of got used to that. Now I have to do like P for paste and yank. Well, I haven't really tested yank yet, but let's try yank, and then let's see if we can paste this into another application. Okay, yeah, I'm fine with that. I just have to get used to it. It's yank and put, Y and P, like the standard Vim key bindings. So I'll give this guy an update. Why is it like K and J? What happened? Yeah, because I'm not signed in? I don't feel like it. I want to give that guy an update, but oh well. I guess I won't be able to do it. Okay, Steve Hanoff's blog. This is what I want to copy and paste. ID 143. Is this? Yeah, I guess that's just the URL. I think this one. No. See, I yanked that and undid my system clipboard. So delete. Wrong browser. Delete before I copy. And then put. What the fuck? Oh, because I have to restart Vim to get my. See, I have a bunch of buffers open. That's okay. It's good to have a fresh start. Scratch. Sure, let's write this actually. Actually, it's JavaScript. Did that work? Where the hell did that write? Okay, it's there. Paste.js. Okay, quit it. There we go. Hope I didn't lose anything else there. Now let's open some of that stuff back up. Let's go to the README. Let's put, yes, yes. I copied and pasted from something else into Vim without right-clicking paste. Oh my god. Let me actually commit that in my .files repo. Are you fucking kidding me? Like what? Oh yeah, I was like testing the copy and paste. But I did save, I saved the thing that I wanted to save. It's not just yank and put. I think when you delete, that also goes to my system clipboard now. Let me test that. If I delete this and then undo it, let's see if I can paste. Yeah. Okay, so that was a tangent. that had nothing to do with fonts, but now I have my Vim configured in a little bit better way. And so we're in the middle of updating the README. There's the font preview tool. There's Steve Hanoff's blog. Did I spell Steve's name correctly? I think so. If I didn't, sorry about that, Steve. Your blog has been a great resource for me. Now, I restarted Vim, so nothing is open anymore. Let's edit that. Let's edit main. All right. So now, I think I want to clean up the logging a little bit more, and then what I want to do is refactor this. So when I parse a table, it's read table, not parse table. Okay. I've parse args, but I've read TTF. I think that makes sense because read TTF is reading from a file. Parse args, it's parsing arguments, but it's not reading from a file. So I think I'm okay with that naming convention. But yeah, I want to refactor this into a function. That will be a separate commit. For now, I want a to-do note. Let me restart this Vim as well. This has a bunch of stuff too. No change. Okay. Actually, yeah. Oh, fuck. Okay. So because of Corbelli, really? Because of Corbelli, I wasn't able to parse that, and then, but if I test the font files that start with a D through a Z, wildcard, that should work, right? Yeah, I ran this before, and all of them work. It's not getting the uppercase ones, so let me do that too. Okay, that should be everything but fonts that start with a lowercase c. Maybe I should just have a single block list for Corbelli. That was pretty fast. Yeah, I think it's better if I just have a block list. Because if I do this, it's going to fail on Corbelli. see, Corbelli. So let me refactor this script a little bit. I want X, so X is what's echoing this thing. I think probably do that, not redirect to null. And then we're going to have a directory. The directory is named not that. That's the directory. Do I want a trailing slash here? Yeah, I have a trailing slash. Then I'll have a double trailing slash, but that's okay. Now, let's see, copy. And no, it didn't work. Why didn't that work? Is tmux using yet another clipboard? God damn. This is configuration hell. I thought I would be cool and use tmux with vim, but this is kind of a pain. So what clipboard does this go into? So copy. It's in my system clipboard. Put. Just let me put. Where's the slash coming from? What the hell is that? It was working for other things, right? So if I copy some random stuff from here, why did it stop working? Why the fuck did this stop working? Copy. Paste here. It's definitely in my system clipboard. Put. What the fuck? Did I quit this yet? No, I think I started refactoring this and yeah, I never actually quit this. God damn it. So I'm in the middle of refactoring this. Can't forget that. What else do I have? Test win. Okay. There we go. Jesus. I just forgot to restart Vim. God damn. And then, is tmux problematic? Yes. Yes, I can copy and paste between anything and anything else. So, if the file not equal the directory, well, we have the directory. Why the fuck is that so laggy? Is this proper bash syntax? So if I do this, it should skip Corbelli. No, that is not proper bash syntax. How do we do this in bash? Bang equals would be nice. I can avoid this stupid looking Fortran syntax. There we go. And it should skip Corbelly. How long does it take to fail? How long does it take to fail if I include... Oh wow, that was everything. So now if I comment this out, it should fail relatively quickly because Corbelly is towards the front of the alphabet if you get past the uppercase ones. Yeah, so you see there it fails, but if I put in my block list to skip Corbelly, everything is Gucci. And that just runs and it verifies all of the checksums in all of the Windows font files. That's pretty cool. I think we're making some progress on parsing. We haven't actually gotten to the glyphs yet. That's the actual exciting thing inside the font files. But the fact that we can validate or verify, whatever you want to call it, we can verify all of these checksums, that's kind of cool. Yeah, I think I want to commit. This only works in WSL. It will not work on Linux, and it will not work on Windows without WSL. So let me SSH into my Ubuntu computer, which is actual Ubuntu. Do I have this alias set up? The host name is Galatnix, so I think I have a host name. If the IP, yeah, the IP address changes every time I restart something. Oh, also I cycled my power yesterday, so I probably need to physically log into it before I can SSH into it. So never mind about that. But if you have a Linux system, you can probably set this directory to something else, and then I think this should validate all of your Linux fonts. But I don't know what that directory is. So I think it's user share local or user local share, and then there's a fonts directory or something like that. That's what Google tells me, but that doesn't exist on WSL. So user share local locale user local. I think it's user local share, and then the internet is saying there should be a font subdirectory in here. User local share fonts. Yeah, this is where Google tells me it should be, or several other locations, but I looked in all of them and none of them exist in WSL. So yeah, that's a to-do. I think it has to be done on an actual Ubuntu system, not WSL. But yeah, this testing script, it'll run in WSL, not in other places though. I don't think I'm ready to commit yet. I think I want to get rid of the rest of the logging. And then I think we don't need to do the bitwise and every single time in the loop. I think we can do it once outside of the loop. But I want to get the logging cleaned up before I do that. Got a bunch of warnings here. I might want to look at those at some point. Yeah, that's better. I don't need to run all of them. So it tells you the file name, so I don't need like don't need the X in here to like echo the command, because cali itself echoes the file that it's loading. It says how many tables there are. Yeah, that's about it. I might not even print this. I don't know. I think it's good to know. Until I get the rest of the file parsed, I think I'll leave it in there. What the hell was that? Is that what I typed? I think I typed IX and then like it tried to run something. I guess it was just searching for the command. Now I think I might be ready to commit and then refactor. I might as well add this testing script. Later I might name it test.sh. But you know what? I think I want to build in here as well. So let me have like a short version. So that's every single font file. If I just do the ones that start with A, and that's fairly short. It only did like 5 files. There are only 5 that start with A. I think I want to build before I do this. That's the way that my run script works. Right? The run script, first it builds and then it runs. So in the test script, I want it to build in case you haven't rebuilt recently, and then run. So now you can see it doesn't actually do anything because it's already built. There it goes, and then I can clean, and then this would have not worked before, but now it will rebuild. So there it goes, rebuilding. I think that's it. I think I'm ready to commit now. Getting a bunch of warnings here. So I can't do anything about the new extension. I need it, because if I parse it as little endian, it doesn't work. Or if I parse it as the default endianness, it doesn't work. Different type kinds. Might be able to fix some of these. Integer 16 to integer 8. Let's see if we can clean up line 72. So is it like Z8 or something? I don't think so. ZD. How do I do like a 8-byte hex literal? I don't think it's that according to syntax highlighting. Oh, this is good. See, the build script failed, and because I have set -e, it just stops right there. It doesn't continue with the tests with the previously compiled exe. So this is a warning. If I try to do Z8, that's an error. So how do I do like an 8-byte hex literal? Bose constants. I have no idea why this shit is named like that. Bose literal. Maybe I just need to, maybe I need to cast it. Int, int, and then the kind is the second argument. Do I still get a warning? No, no more warning on line 72. But I kind of hate the way this looks. This... It looks like shit. So this... Okay, so what about... So like, how do I make it 8 bytes? I have to use the int function and give it the kind argument. It's kind of annoying. Can I do a preprocessor macro? Can I be fancy here? I probably don't want to get into macros right now. Not sure how I feel about this. Like, do I just live with the warning, or do I use this ugly syntax? I think I'll just leave a to-do note for now. That does a few files, then if I run like all of them, it'll keep chugging along. I'm not going to let it do all of them. I'm just going to kill that. So what did I even do here? I basically just cleaned up the logging and added a test script. Let's see if this is compiling. Okay, the last one passed, so that's good. Because we were failing yesterday because I didn't know that the head checksum is different from all the other checksums, so you can't verify it the same way. And Ubuntu is passed, that's all I need to know. Next, I think I want to refactor the table reading. Yeah, I think I want this to be a function. So let's yank this. Put it there. Read TTF table. Doesn't need any arguments. No, I think it just works. Well, it needs the file unit. And then I think it should work based on where it's positioned in the file. Is that the only argument it needs? Maybe. Let's find out. So we can kill one indentation level here. Now this is a function. Then I need a bunch of local variables here, which I can copy from this function for now. Some of them are going to be unused, and then we'll clean that up in a minute. Yeah, I guess that's it. Is that going to work? That does not work. Oh, right, there's no return type. Let's just call it table. And this is why I wanted to refactor, because now I can get rid of this leading TTF% member. And I can also get rid of the index, because it's only reading one table. Actually, I kind of want to search and replace that. So, not globally, but from here till the end, search TTF%, and then just delete it. Comment. Yep. I think that's it. And then we can get rid of the index too. So I think I can search like that. That should be safe enough. LE. Let's see if that works. Nope. Oh. Because there is still no return type. Result table type there's something wrong buried way up here. You already declared. And yeah, there's no cycle. So instead of cycle, we can, come on, return. There it is. me log my checksums again to verify that it's actually getting to this point in the function and not just skipping the verification and pretending that everything is okay. Looks good. Do these actually match? Yeah. The red checksum matches the calculated sum. Basically, if you look at every pair of numbers here, they match. So this thing is the same as this thing, and then this one is the same as this one. So that's good. Undo that logging again. Let it chug along for a little bit. We don't need to test every single font file. I tested surely a few dozen at least, more than I feel like scrolling through. So I think that's it for the refactor. And then I want to reduce the number of bitwise ands if I can. That's good. Now, the bitwise ands. I think I don't need to do it within the loop, and I can just do it once at the end. Yeah, still verifying, validating checksums. But if I don't do it at all, this will break. Yeah, the very first file, it fails on the very first table. I think FFTM is the first table. I don't actually know Aleph bold. So let's double check that just for fun. Hexedit xxd %bang xxd. Okay, read only, I don't give a fuck. Yeah, so FFTM is the first table. You can see it's on the first line. Actually, just to recap the TTF file format, which I've touched on a little bit in the last stream, this is like the header of the entire file. And then this is the first table entry. So this table entry goes from there to there. Ignore like the ASCII interpretation on the right and the addresses on the left. But these bytes from 4646 to 001C, this is the first table offset header. I'm not really sure what the terminology is, but this is the first table entry, and the tag is FFTM, and then it has a checksum here, and offset, and a length. So this is the checksum. We read it here, and then what we do is we jump to this position and read for this length and add up all of the integers, and that's how we calculate the checksum, and then that calculated checksum has to match this, and that's how you verify the checksums. We do this for every table. There's like the FFTM table and the GDEF table, and like the important ones are the GLYF table and so on. But we don't do it for the head table because the head table follows different rules, and I didn't know that yesterday, but the head table checksum is actually more of a checksum for the entire file. So we're going to have to do something different with this one. For now, I'm just skipping it, and we'll have to get back to that. So, yeah. Anyway, Aleph bold. What did I do? Yeah, Aleph bold, if we take out that bitwise and, then the very first checksum fails. But if we put this back in and rerun it, now it's chugging along. It's verifying checksums for all of the files, all of the fonts. And then I think I can refactor this a lot more, because instead of having this temporary U32 variable, I can just put the read right there and add it up without having a temporary variable. And then I think I can delete this as long as it doesn't appear as a whole word. Yep, I think we can do that, and that should also work. There we go. Yeah, I don't need that because that didn't work. Yeah, and this function is a little bit cleaner now. Oh, and I had question marks because I didn't understand this. But the reason that we loop to the length plus 3 over 4 is because we're taking the ceiling of the number of words. This is 4-byte words is the number of bytes divided by 4, but the ceiling. So the reason they do it like that is so that you don't skip anything with the checksum. Because if we just did this divided by 4, sometimes if the number of bytes was already divisible by 4, then this would be fine. But if it's not divisible by 4, this would truncate, this would do integer division, it would truncate, and it would skip the last byte or 2 or 3. And then the checksum would verify some of the data, but it wouldn't verify all of the last word. So if we add 3, effectively what we're doing is we're taking a ceiling of this division, and then we're overlapping this table with the start of the next table, but we're now validating every single byte in the file, except for the head table, which is, we've already talked about that. So that's why it's plus 3 divided by 4. I was confused about that at first, but if you don't do it, you get the wrong checksums. So this is the way that it has to be done. And yeah, this function is looking a little bit more streamlined now. Can I still log these things? Did I updated this commented code correctly? Yep, that still seems to work. Okay, I think that's basically what I wanted to do with this, and now I can continue parsing the rest of the file after the tables, or after the offset tables, or the table headers, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know the terminology. I just want to print the total number of files here. Is that how we do math? I do the short one with only A's. Nope. How do I do math in Bash? There's an easy way to do this. Okay, so I don't need the $sign. The $sign was breaking this. And that should be it, right? 25. That's... Oh. What the hell happened? Oh. Isn't there a way to do it with a plus plus? Yeah, that's what I did, right? paren I plus plus, paren n files plus plus. It's only doing one file there. I comment this out. You can see it does several files. So why does this break my loop? Why the hell does this break my loop? What the fuck? God damn it. I need to like set up a Vim alias that capital W just does lowercase w, because I accidentally do that so many times. Jesus, there we go. Is it my bash version? Do I have maybe I have an older version of bash where this doesn't work? But like you would hope that that would be a syntax error or something, and bash would tell me that, hey, this what you're trying to do doesn't work. It says a dollar sign. A dollar sign only works if it's the right-hand side. Anyway, I think that's what I want out of a testing script for now. Wait, nope. What did I just do? And I don't remember how long this takes. It surprisingly doesn't take that long. It's on the C's, it's on the M's, S, it's getting towards the end of the alphabet. Yeah, that didn't even take that long. If I do time, 316 files in, what was it, like less than 30 seconds? Maybe closer to 15 seconds. 11.4 seconds, that's really not that bad. And this isn't even optimized. This is compiled without optimization, and it's compiled with all sorts of bounds checking and things which slow down Fortran. But they make it safe. They make it like practically Rust. So what have I done? Got rid of redundant bitwise ands. I'm gonna check how the CI is going. Last one passed, this one's running. I'm pretty sure it'll pass, so I'm not gonna sit around and wait for it. Do I have this open? Okay, good. I wanted to make sure I haven't committed this. So first of all, what is up with Corbelli? This online previewer worked. What's the name of it? Fontdrop.info. Also, I want to check what my README looks like. Because we edited the README, I want to make sure the links work. Work in progress. Here's a link. That didn't work. it thinks it's a relative URL. So that link works. And then fontdrop.info. Can I just put www in front of it? What is up with Corbelly? Excuse my English. Nope, it still thinks it's relative. About HTTP, whack whack. HTTPS. I can copy and paste now. Yes. Hope I got that right. Fix README link. There's the second attempt. There we go. That's how you do a link in README. Okay. What next? Now I think we can try to parse the rest of the font file because we read the table offset headers, and then we can start to get to what is inside of the actual tables. We did read them. We calculated the checksum by adding up all the bytes, but we don't really store that information in any kind of useful structure. So now I have to go back to Steve Hanoff's blog. So the head table is going to be important because it has the dimensions of the font and other stuff. There was a way to, like, on GitHub when you have a code block, there's like a copy button right here where you can click in the corner of the box and then it copies the entire code block. For this I can select by line, but there's not really an easy way to select just the code block without getting into the blog text. So let's copy that and let's work on the head table. I think I want a vertical split. Yes, paste. Sorry, I know you can't see everything behind my webcam, but it's not really critical because I'm going to be copying into Fortran. First of all, where does he call this thing? Read head table. Okay, so he reads the tables, then he reads the head table. Or he reads the offset tables, which is what I've done, and then he reads the head table. So he parses this in a little bit of a funny way. It's fine because he doesn't need to store the data. Steve's blog here, he just needs to draw one glyph at a time. So how does he do this? He reads the file here. This constructor reads the header of the file. It reads the offset tables, and then it reads the head table. But then he doesn't actually read the glyphs until right here inside the drawGlyph function, which calls readGlyph. Look at this. You don't need an IDE to understand JavaScript. You just need a browser and Control F, and that's how I'm doing this. So don't get hung up on IDEs. You can use a basic text editor, or not even an editor, just a browser. As long as you can look at text and Control F for things that you want to search for, you can understand somebody's code. So, yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit. I don't need to worry about reading the glyphs yet. I need to just read the head table, and that's the next thing that I'm going to work on. And he calls that right here, right after reading the offsets table. So I think I'm going to put this inside my read TTF function. So here's my read TTF function. We read the table offsets. Is that what he calls it? Read offset tables. And the stuff that's inside the offset tables is like the position and the length of each table. I know the line wrapping looks weird, but like if I zoomed in on this, it's fine. So don't worry about that. And then the next thing is, well, I don't need a comment because I'm just going to say read head table. Don't know if I want to make it a function just yet. Yeah, and then this is what I have copied pasted. So the first thing we're going to need is a fixed point parser. Because a fixed point type is not something that exists in Fortran. So we're going to have to roll our own the same way that Steve Hanoff did for JavaScript, because JavaScript doesn't really have types like that either. JavaScript actually doesn't have types at all because it's a dynamically typed language. So the first thing is seek. And I think I want to make this a global parameter because we're going to use it in multiple places. Oh god, that should have been a parameter. Each of these on a different line. Might as well do it like this. That'll be fine. Seek abs, don't need it there. Oh, I think I have unused variables. Because this read TTF table is fine. But this has some declared, but it's not actually used. So I think there are probably warnings about it. And then now that I have this refactored, I could use I instead of J, or I could just leave it the way that it is. It doesn't really matter. want to see if there are any warnings, any compiler warnings for more unused variables. So I don't really care about those extension warnings or the type conversions. Unused variable IO 179. Okay, so I think that can be a commit. Now the next thing is seeking. But before we seek, we have to get the index of the head table because we need to know what position to seek to. And if you look inside the checksum calculator, remember we stored the old seek position and then we jumped. And then after we finished calculating the checksum, we jumped back to the original position. You don't need to do that in the head table because every read operation from now on, we can seek to one of the positions that we've already saved in the table offset from the table offset headers. So we don't need to back up the old position at this point, but we do need to find the index of the head table, and I have a function for that. It's called getTable. It takes the TTF file and the tag. See, this is annoying because Fortran is case insensitive. I want like a string parameter called head. So I need to use Hungarian notation and say this is a string. Or I could just hard code it and say head. You know, this will work as long as I declare head. Head is, let's make it an integer 8 just to be safe. So how does this work? Yeah, this actually returns an integer 8, which is also just to be safe. You could probably use 4-byte integers here because these numbers probably aren't going to be that large, but just to be consistent, because there are like unsigned 32-byte integers in these TTF files. So just to be safe, I have to use 64-bit integers in Fortran, because Fortran doesn't have unsigned integers, it only has signed integers. That's the last of the coffee. So we seek, and then we get the version. Read head table. How do I want to structure this data? For now, I'm just going to say version equals read fixed IU, and we need to implement the read fixed function. So how is this structured? About like xmin. I think he actually uses xmin somewhere else. So there's a head xmin and then there's a glyph xmin. Okay, so these are just in the font structure. Could do it like that, or I could nest it inside a head structure. I think I don't want to go crazy with object-oriented programming and have too many things nested inside of other things, so I think I'll just include all of this data right in the TTF struct. I'm not going to make a separate substruct for it. And then, like, is there anything else in here that he uses? Probably units per m. That should probably only be in one place. Yeah, you can see it's just in the font struct. So I think I'm going to do the same thing. And version is floating point. Well, it's fixed point. But I'm going to use a double precision. It feels insane to store a version as a double precision number. Yeah, like any sane person would store it as 2 or 3 separate integers, not one double precision. Like obviously this predates semantic versioning because they only have 2. They have like x.y, not x.y.z. So I guess they made up their own rules. And then we need to implement read fixed. This is TTF version. Get fixed. Get fixed. So it parses a 32-bit integer and then divides that by 2 to the 16. Seems easy enough to do. Gets a 32-bit integer. So we read a 32-bit thing, and then we're going to divide it. like that should work. Let's see what happens. Let me just do run. Run runs one font file from Computer Modern. Test would do like a bunch of font files. I'm not ready for that yet. I just want to do one file. Well, that doesn't seem right. Oh. I did divided by 2 to the negative 16. What I want to do is multiply by that. Equivalently, if you wanted to divide, you could do I32 divided by 2 to the positive 16. Multiplication might be cheaper than division. It's hard to know how expensive floating point operations are. So I'll multiply by a negative power instead. You could do this with like bit shifting operations like Steve Hanoff did in JavaScript, but I feel like times 2 to the negative 16 is more readable. So let's see what that does. That seems like a reasonable version, 1.00000. Let's do the font info. What the hell is this website called? Fontdrop.info. Let's see what that says about the version. I want to see the head table. Version 1. So I think that's right. Let's see what the next number is. So the next thing is the font revision, which is also fixed. Do we have any get int? We do have some get signed integers in here. We also have get f word. I don't know what the fuck that is. But obviously it's like some kind of floating point word, I guess. I don't know, maybe it's an integer. I'll have to find out. But for now, revision is another fixed. That's nice because I just implemented read fixed reversion, so I don't have to implement another read or helper function for the font revision. Point 7. Come on. 0.7, hell yeah. Should we keep rolling? I think I'm going to end the stream soon, now that I'm successfully parsing data from the header. This is a non-zero amount of work that I've done today. But I think I can keep going for a few more minutes if I don't have to implement too many helper functions. All right, checksum adjustment in the magic number. It's interesting that this website, it has things listed in the same order that they appear in the data. So that's helpful. It makes it easy to debug. So we have a few more uints, which is good because I don't have to implement helper functions for those. Then date is going to be something that I have to implement. But for these next few, I can basically copy and paste. And then I might like do some minor editing. Like I don't necessarily like the naming convention. Fortran is case insensitive, so I don't like to use camel case. I used to, but then somebody convinced me otherwise, one of my old bosses. So this is not this. M, in case you don't know, is like a unit in fonts. Like there's a type of dash called an M dash, which is 1 M long. So that's what units per M is referring to. And then file.getuint read u32 from this file. Yep, same thing. Is that 32? That was 32. And then we have 16. Let's replace that with 16 and another read 16. So let's see if that compiles. We're so close to aligning, let's just make them aligned. Will this compile? No. Oh, because I didn't declare these structs. So I have to add all of these structs into my TTF struct. Some of them are, actually they're all going to be integer 8 because fuck worrying about types. If you need RAM, just buy more RAM. Don't try to optimize your code and make things 16 bits or 32 bits. Just use 64 bits for everything. Who cares? So I have spaces instead of tabs. Fine, it all fits on one line if you wrap things normally. Oh god, my commas are all fucked up. So I want the space after the comma. Flags, space, there you go. Will I compile now? Compiled, it ran. What the hell did we read? I don't know, we'll have to log it. So, do I actually care about all this stuff? I don't know if I care about this stuff enough to log everything, but I do want to check the magic number because there's this assertion. So let's print that first. And let's format it as hex. What is it supposed to be? 5FOF? Oh, this prints it in decimal. 5FOF, 3CF5, 3CF5, that looks correct. The hell do I want this message to be? Bad magic number. Sure, I think that's good enough. Exit -1. Don't I have exit failure? That's better. So let's see if that works. No. What did I do? Oh, the literal. Balls literal. So this is formatted like this in Fortran, because Fortran just has to be fucking different. And that seems to be okay. We can do some more font files. There it goes, chugging along, saying the versions and everything. Version 2, version 1. Some of these font revisions, 1.07. That seems a little bit weird. Isn't that like a really sus fixed point number? Maybe it's just 1.07 and then the rest is rounding error. So maybe they have a convention that they increment by hundredths. And so I could see how they could get up to 1.07 then. 1.06. 1.4. I guess these are not that wild. Maybe I should make like a custom fixed point type, which actually doesn't cast to double precision. But I don't know. Who cares? I'm probably not even going to check the version or the font revision for anything. So that seems okay, and we can see that if I fuck up the magic number, this should fail. It says bad magic number. And if we undo that, it just keeps chugging along. So I think I'm going to commit this and then end the stream for today, because we've verified the checksums. We basically got that done yesterday, except I didn't understand that the head checksum is different. And now we're starting to read some more data from the font file. We're getting like the versions, and we're getting a magic number, which is almost like another checksum. It's not really a checksum, it's more like a file type identifier. That's what magic numbers are typically used for in fonts. So this magic number says that this is a TTF file. It's not some other file type. Yeah, do I want to edit any of this? I think it's probably okay. Let's see what units per M is. I don't want to do that. I just want to do computer modern. Units per M is 2048. That sounds reasonable. Yeah, 2048, that looks correct. Let's leave it in there for now. So let's see what we've done and then get it committed. Let's check that that's chugging along in CD, or CI/CD, whatever you want to call GitHub Actions. The next thing is going to be, no, we got flags. So let's see if that's going. No, it failed. Why? What the hell? It runs, doesn't it? Why did this fail? What the fuck? Why the fuck not? This is like some outdated. That's a modern Fortran version. So I guess I just have to cast that to an integer. This is fucking annoying. That is still okay. This is why you use CI, because some things compile on one operating system or with one version of the compiler but not others. CI will help you catch things like that. So let's see if this one is going. Hasn't failed yet. I think it's done. Yeah, that worked. Got the version, got units per M. Yeah, I think that's it for today. Now when I run diff, the next time I want to do some work, I can see that like this is the next thing I want to do. Yeah, so that's it for today. I'll catch you next time. Bye.